Hare Krishna. Today we are going to study the verse number 21 of Bhagwat Gita as it is. And in this verse, we will come to know a special kind of people who never get attracted to any kind of material sense pleasures or external objects. Rather, they are always in trance. Normally, everyone is attracted either towards some objects of sense enjoyment or some people, and then they want to achieve it. And for this, everyone is putting in so much of hard work. But how is it possible that staying in the same world where so many things and people are always around to attract us towards them, there are some people who are completely aloof from all kinds of material sense enjoyment attractions, and they stay in trance, that is eternal happiness. In today's verse, Krishna is going to tell us about it, and Srila Prabhupada and Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur will help us to understand it in a practical manner. In verse number 18 of this chapter, Krishna explained that who is truly a learned person. Vidya Vinay Sampanne Brahmane Gavihastine Shuni Chev Shvapake Cha Panditah Samadarshinaha. Krishna says that the humble sage, by virtue of true knowledge, sees with equal vision a learned and gentle Brahman, a cow, an elephant, a dog, and a dog eater. He sees them all equal and never differentiates on the level of body, because he sees Paramatma in every heart. Then in verse number 19, Krishna says that the person who sees everyone same, what does he gain? Iher terjitah sargo yesham samye sthitam manah nirdosham hi samam brahma tasmad brahmadi te sthitah. Those whose minds are established in sameness and equanimity, they have already conquered the conditions of birth and death. They are flawless like Brahma, and thus they are already situated in Brahman. In this verse, Krishna has appreciated the people who are established in sameness and equanimity. Thus, in the next verse, that is the verse number 20, Krishna further glorifies such a person who is equipoised in all circumstances. Na prahashyet priyam prapya, no dvijet prapya cha apriyam, sthir buddhir asammudho brahmavit brahmadi sthitah. Krishna says that a person who neither rejoices upon achieving something pleasant nor laments upon obtaining something unpleasant, who is intelligent, unbewildered, and who knows the signs of God, to be understood as already situated in transcendence, means that he is completely unaffected by any kind of material success or failure, because he knows the signs of God. And knowing the signs of God means knowing that Krishna is all pervading in the form of his external energy, that is earth, sky, air, fire and water. And then Krishna is seated in each and every living being's heart in the entire 84 lakhs of species. And the same Paramatma has his personal form, that is Nandanandan, Yashoda Nandan Krishna, who eternally resides in Golok Vrindavan Dham with all his personal associates. And along with it, a Krishna conscious person also knows that he himself is a part of Supreme Krishna. And being a part of Krishna, it is his utmost duty to serve Krishna lovingly. A person who has all these knowledge and lovingly serves Krishna is known to be always situated in transcendence, because he is completely absorbed in Krishna all the time. Now, in today's verse, we will come to know that this person who is always situated in transcendence, how is he not attracted towards anything material, whether it is a thing or a person? It's going to be very interesting and enlightening. Now let us start by reciting the verse number 21 of chapter number 5. Bahya sparshesh asaktatma vindati atmani yat sukham sabrahma yog yuktatma sukham akshayam ashnute. Bahya sparsheshu asaktatma vindati atmani yat sukham sabrahma yog yuktatma sukham akshayam ashnute. Bahya sparsheshu asaktatma vindati atmani yat sukham sabrahma yog yuktatma sukham akshayam ashnute. Krishna says that such a liberated person is not attracted to material sense pleasure or external objects, but is always in trance, enjoying the pleasure within. In this way, the self-realized person enjoys unlimited happiness, for he concentrates on the Supreme. Krishna is very clearly saying that a person who is self-realized and liberated is not attracted to any material sense pleasure, and he is always in trance, enjoying the pleasure within. And in this way, a self-realized person enjoys unlimited happiness, for he always concentrates on Krishna. Let us first read the Anvay given by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur ki jai. Anant Koti Vaishnavon ki jai. Bahya sparsheshu, to external sense pleasures. Asakt atma, a person unattached. Vindati, finds. Atmani, within the self. Yet whatever. Sukham, happiness. Saha, that. Brahma Yog, transcendental communion with Absolute Spirit. Yukt Atma, soul united. Sukham, happiness. Akshayam, limitless. Ashnute, attains. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that he who is not attached to external sense pleasures finds happiness within the self, and being united with the Supreme Lord through yoga, he attains unending happiness. So it's very clear that a person who is always in communion with the Supreme Lord gets unending happiness, Sukham Akshayam, whereas all the so-called happiness in this material world is temporary, no matter whatever it may be. The bliss attained by a living entity who has achieved Paramatma is unending. So the mind of such a living entity who has united with that absolute spirit Brahma through yoga is not at all attached with the so-called sense pleasures of this temporary material world. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that this can be only experienced by the people who are completely absorbed in the Supreme Absolute Brahma. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that why would a person who continuously tastes nectar be ever interested in eating mud? So it's very clear that when a person has tasted a higher enjoyment, why would he be ever interested for anything inferior? That is, the sense enjoyment of this material world. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that all external sense enjoyments such as sound, taste, beautiful sight and touch are only experienced with the help of the external sense organs such as eyes, ears, tongue, nose and skin. They are unable to reach to the soul and give happiness to the soul. And people who remain detached from external sense objects, they always dwell in bliss within, which is derived from the experience of their communion with Paramatma. Do not even think of any sort of sense objects of this material world, what to speak of enjoying them. In chapter number 2, verse number 59, Krishna says, Shaya vinirvartante niraharasya dehinah rasvarjam rasopyasya param drishtva nivartate. Krishna says that if a embodied soul restricts himself from all the sense enjoyments, still the taste for the sense enjoyment remains in him. But if he stops all the activities of sense enjoyment after having the experience of higher taste of spiritual enjoyment, then he is never attracted towards the inferior worldly sense enjoyment engagements. Krishna says that he is known to be fixed in Krishna consciousness. And once a person has experienced a higher taste, that is, if a person has travelled in first AC or second AC, then why would he opt for anything lower than that? Krishna consciousness frees the person from all kinds of hankerings of the worldly things and people, because a Krishna conscious person gets to know the temporary nature of the earthly pleasures and the eternity of the transcendental bliss. This is why Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur has compared transcendental bliss with the taste of nectar and earthly pleasures with eating mud. And no intelligent person will eat mud after tasting nectar. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur ki jai. Now let us read the purport of Srila Prabhupada. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Anant Koti Vaishnavon ki jai. Srila Prabhupada says that Sri Yamunacharya, a great devotee in Krishna consciousness, said, Yada vadimam chetah Krishna padarvinde Navanavaras dham anudyate rantum asit. tada vidhibat nari sangame smaryamane bhavati mukha vikarah shushtu nishtivanam cha. Sri Yamunacharya is saying that since I have been engaged in the transcendental loving service of Krishna, realizing ever new pleasure in him, since then, whenever I think of sex pleasure, I spit at the thought and my lips curl with distaste. Srila Prabhupada is saying that a person in Brahma Yoga or Krishna consciousness is so absorbed in the loving service of the Lord that he loses all his taste for material sense pleasures altogether. The highest pleasure in terms of matter is sex pleasure, and the whole world is moving under its spell. And a materialist cannot work at all without this motivation. But a person engaged in Krishna consciousness can work with greater vigor without sex pleasure, which he avoids. That is the test of spiritual realization. Spiritual realization and sex pleasure, they do not go together. Prabhupada says that a Krishna conscious person is not attracted to any kind of sense pleasure due to his being a liberated soul. Srila Prabhupada is very clearly explaining to us that how a Krishna conscious person is fully absorbed in the loving service of Krishna, because he continuously keeps on getting the transcendental pleasure, and he is never attracted by any material enjoyments. Most importantly, he is not attracted by the man-woman relationship, which is mostly prevalent in everyone who is not Krishna conscious. Now, this should not be misunderstood that a Krishna conscious person does not do his prescribed duties in the material world. Rather, a Krishna conscious person is more dutiful because he sees Krishna's presence everywhere, which means in every human being, birds, trees, aquatics, insects, and in four-legged animals. And in this way, he does all his allotted work according to his varnashram dharma, but never gets attracted to any material sense enjoyments, because he knows it fully well that in this material world everything belongs to Krishna, and Krishna is the supreme enjoyer. So a question might come in our mind that does it mean that a Krishna conscious person does not enjoy his life, or does he not get any happiness in his life? Answer to this is this, that a Krishna conscious person is always happy in everything that he is doing, because Krishna is the ultimate reservoir of all beauty, intelligence, wealth, fame, power, and detachment. And when a Krishna conscious person sees Krishna everywhere and he does everything to please only Krishna, then Krishna becomes very happy, and he, being a part of Krishna, also becomes happy automatically. Srila Prabhupada says that everyone in this entire material world is working so hard for only becoming happy, but the people who are not Krishna conscious, their happiness is temporary and flickering, because in this material world everything is temporary, and a Krishna conscious person is always happy because Krishna is permanent and his happiness is also permanent. Srila Prabhupada, in very simple words, explains that the people who have their full concentration to enjoy this material world are called materialistic people, and the people who have their full concentration to make Krishna happy are Krishna conscious or spiritualistic people. Materialistic people are attracted towards material, and Krishna conscious people are attracted towards Krishna. And since by serving Krishna they get transcendental happiness, this is why they never get attracted towards any material sense enjoyment, no matter whatever it is. In today's verse, Krishna has said that a person who is not attached to any external sense pleasure, he is the one who is always absorbed in Brahman and is situated in the transcendental platform, enjoying the pleasure within. In this way, the self-realized person enjoys unlimited happiness, for he concentrates on the Supreme. It is so clear from today's verse that when a person concentrates on material world, he never gets unlimited happiness, because the nature of this world is temporary. But when a person shifts his concentration on the Supreme, then he gets unlimited, unending, transcendental bliss. Now it's our choice. Which happiness do we wish to opt for? Temporary happiness or permanent happiness? Today's verse has made it very clear that how a Krishna conscious person never gets attracted to a man-woman relationship also, which is so much attractive and prevalent in the material world. The answer is only this, that when a person is completely absorbed in Krishna consciousness, he is so satisfied within himself that he never thinks of anything inferior, because he knows it fully well that in this material world, no matter whatever sense enjoyment is available, everything is temporary. So the transcendental bliss is like tasting nectar. Then why should a person who is tasting nectar, that is Krishna consciousness, why should he ever opt for anything in this material world which has been compared with mud in front of transcendental bliss, which is compared with nectar? I thank Srila Prabhupada, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, and my Shiksha Guru, His Grace Harimohan Das Prabhuji, for explaining to us such difficult and such secretive knowledge of Bhagwat Gita in such simple and practical manner. I thank all of you for listening to Bhagwat Gita shlokas so attentively and patiently. Please do write in your comments what have you learned in this particular verse. And now we shall meet the next week with a new verse, and we will learn something new. Till then, keep chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, and please do share these videos more and more with everyone, as this is the only way that we can please Krishna and do good to the entire mankind. Hare Krishna.